And well, yep, I'll start. Yep. So I'm recording it too, Melissa. So what I'll do is I've actually logged into my demo system to just do an overview of the system and an introduction. And then I noticed that we're actually having a couple of these sessions. After this kind of session, what I'll be doing is you won't have to take notes, because I'll send you step-by-step instructions on what you need to do next, and things that you should be doing. So it'll literally be a step-by-step instruction. Go here, do this, whatever it may be. But the system is an online system. As long as you've got an internet connection, you can actually use the product. If you're an admin user, this is what you would see, all these registers, but all the people in these meetings, I think, are management permission levels from different states. So when you log into the system, this is what you would see. These icons and your site name, and you're looking at basically all these icons here are the same as what is on the Quick Links page, which is the global page, but filtered for the site that you're in. So how the system works, if you're a site which is down, say for an example, in Tasmania or Western Australia, wherever it may be that you are, as a manager of that site, you can literally have, it's like having your own system. So you've got this management icon just here that you can actually manage all your employees and everything relating to your site. Now, in saying that, this is just remembering I'm doing an overview here. So and then once I start going over certain things and so forth, you'll understand a little bit more about it. Yes, each of those sites are entered into the system, but this is what's called the global site. So this is Chess Moving site, for an example. So head office would have access to that with Melissa and whoever it may be that they can have more than one admin user. But you're looking at the system is used to help and show compliance. Now, for your industry, being that you're using transport and trucks and all those different things, I'm going to show you some of the features just to get you up and running in this session that literally will get you using the system and getting value out of it straight away, and you won't be too scared of it. So your employees in your system have already been entered inside the system. So you've got every single employee, remembering this is just a demo system at the moment. So each one of those employees also, obviously, especially in your industry, they have certain qualifications. So to add a qualification, you would hit this green plus sign. But again, you don't have to make notes, because inside the system there is step-by-step graphic instructions on how to do every single process in the system. But you're looking at adding a qualification is quite easy. They've already been added in your system. So now you're looking at, you could actually select it from a drop-down list of all the qualifications in your system. We will be logging into your system later on this session so you can actually see that. So say for an example, if there's a certain kind of driver's license or whatever it may be, or heavy haulage, whatever it may be, you can actually select that, put an alert date, put an expiry date, and you could even upload their certificate if you wanted to. Please note one thing: if you're going to scan that certificate and it says that, even though it says it's a PDF document as a scanned document, it's still not a true PDF document. So just open up that scanned document, save as PDF, and then upload it, and it'll upload fine. You can upload Word documents, PDFs, Excel, JPEGs into the system, and you would select Update. So with an employee, the reason why you want to enter all those qualifications, because the system automatically creates a qualification matrix. It'll actually have, if they're expired or if they're due, and they'll have a green tick if everything's up to date. You can actually publish this register to all these different sections here. So if you wanted to, you could actually publish a qualification for who's expiring next month or 2 months' time, so you can have time to book them in for a course. Remembering that each one of you, even though this is, I'm here in the overall site, every single one of you have your own individual management icon, where by selecting the employee register here and that qualification matrix, it actually highlights your qualification matrix. But please note that now, see how it's actually filtered for only 13 people, because 13 people are related to the site of Canterbury, which is the site I'm in. So each one of your sites becomes its own identity. You have every single feature and every single function that I will show you in this presentation, and I will send you step-by-step guides of what you actually need to do next. So we'll get back to this employee register. This employee register has lots of different features. So when you actually enter the qualifications for the employee, if I actually select the view icon next to that employee, it automatically produces an ID card for that employee with all their qualifications. This will be the chest moving logo here and the address. You can even upload images of your employees and it will actually be produced on that ID card. You can also generate this as a PDF and all these details of that employee can be printed out. So if you're doing some kind of job that they want to know which employees you're going to be doing, you could actually generate this as a PDF and give it to them. If you're an admin user, Quick Links is the way to get back to the main page, and a manager, it's literally just, well, all you have to do is hit back to the side icons, but I'll go over that in a second. Some of the major features inside the system that's going to get you up and running straight away is this checklist builder. So being that we do have a lot of transport companies that already use this system, you're looking, you're fit for work checklist that you would actually getting people to do before they start. Well, the system here automatically creates online checklist inside the system. There's not a fit for work one in there, but what you would do, you would build one inside the system, or I'll discuss that with Melissa and Mark Celadoni to get that inside the system, so therefore it can be done. But when you actually create a checklist inside the system, what it does, it automatically creates a QR code reader. You might notice that I've actually opened up this field here and opened up this machine. So this is a fit for work checklist, and I might be doing it at the site of Dubbo and for this vehicle company 4, and then I can actually do that checklist. And the person then can sign off on screen and save. Every single time that checklist is done, it'll actually create it in a log, who did it, time and date, even to the point it'll create a PDF where that person, you can print that out and show compliance. Now, if I scan that QR code just there, what that would actually mean is it would ask me to enter my username and password. Are your employees going to remember their username and password, and are they going to log in? Well, maybe not. So you can actually come to this user admin dashboard. Again, if you're a manager, you can select the management icon. You would select this building management icon. Public page. Remember, I've got step-by-step instructions exactly how to do this. Add public page. You would select your site, and you would select the item that you want to make public. And what I mean by public is if any of you have got a QR code reader on your phone, if you want to just get that ready, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by public. I'll select it as checklist, and I can actually select that checklist to be public. And if I wanted to, I can actually have it as an employee list on there, or they have to enter their name. I've already done this one, but obviously that's why it's brought that up. But if I actually go back to that checklist now, if I go select that view icon for fitness for work, I could print out this QR code and now stick it on that truck or behind the visor, or some people are actually using those little business card kind of folders, and they're actually putting a QR code for the fit for work, QR code for the vehicle inspection checklist, QR code for a maintenance, QR code for an incident, and QR code for a hazard. And all they're saying to the drivers is, all you need to do is scan that QR code and fill in the form. That's all you need to do. They don't even have to be logged into the system. So if you have a QR code reader on your phone, you could scan this QR code right here, and it will actually bring up this checklist on your phone. What I'll do after this presentation, I will send you all a short PDF that actually highlights all the QR code features inside the system. I've made them all public. All you need to do is scan those QR codes and bring them up. It's a great way for you to introduce the system to all your employees that might be going, hang on a sec, what's this system? I'm really scared. They're going, I'm not going to do all this paperwork and so forth. If anything, this is going to make their life easier. They have to do it. So now you're looking at, what you're doing is making it easier for them to do and compliance much easier. So what I suggested to a couple of other clients is this PDF that I'll send you, show some of the drivers and say, hey, scan this QR code, and it'll actually bring up a checklist, or it'll bring up a incident form, or it'll bring up a maintenance request form where they can actually complete it. And you can see this is what we're introducing to each one of your trucks and each one of the sites to make things so much easier for you to actually fill out your paperwork. So being that, remembering you do not even have to be logged into the system to actually complete one of these checklists or this maintenance form. Yes, you can make it that they do have to be logged in. It's up to you. So you can make it either public, as I mentioned, through that section here, or you don't make it public, and what that means is that they would scan that QR code. It'll bring up the username and password field. They'd enter their username and password, and basically then then complete the checklist. But we're finding a lot of clients, especially in the transport industry, finding it so much easier for them to comply. Now, in saying that, the beauty about this checklist builder is that, especially for your industry, and I usually do it when I'm doing a presentation, I use the transport industry all the time as an example. Let's say, for an example, there's a big truck checklist, or you might want to build a checklist. Let's select add checklist. Let's relate the site as this red site, which you'll see the red site in your system will be chest moving. And why is it red? That means that anything that's related to that site is related to every single site. But each checklist, what we're going to do is relate that as open, especially if it's something that's going to be a generic checklist throughout chest, every single site. And I'll show you what that means. If it's an individual checklist to your site, you would actually build a checklist, you would relate it solely to your site, and you would actually select close. And again, I'll explain that in a sec. So let's just open this up and relate it to this site, because this is going to be a checklist that every single site would be doing. The activity would be loading and unloading trucks. The machine, well, again, what it is that this checklist could be used for all your different vehicles. So we're going to select open on that field, and I'll show you why. So we'll just select one at the moment. The hazard, well, you could, if you wanted to, as the global site, so Melissa or whatever it may be, you could actually do, whoever's the WHS coordinator could do actually a risk assessment on loss of load, for an example. Let's just pretend that this is loss of load. You've done a risk assessment. Now, all these kind of legislations that you've guys got to do, chain of responsibility or load restraint, we'll do load restraint this time. And what that is, and I'll be sending you in your step-by-step guide, I've actually got what you should be doing is uploading all your compliance and code to practice, especially for your industry, into the compliance register. And you're going to relate a checklist to it, and I'll show you the benefit of doing that. And let's relate it to a policy, vehicle policy. You've already got policies inside your system that you can relate it to it. So I'm just going to So you can actually create it. So this checklist to be undertaken each time before loading a truck. I'll just copy and paste that into the top field here. I can actually, I'll put that in capitals, it looks better. I can make that a heading, and I can select add more. So you can actually then create the checklist that you've got so many checklists that you want to great, or you've already got the checklist. All they need to do now is to be built inside the system. Again, this could be a site risk assessment that you're doing, whatever it may be. You can actually create your own checklist inside the system. You can have a review date for continual improvement, and this will actually help you reach ISO accreditations. You can make a person responsible for that review date, and you'll see with this feature that I'm going to show you as well that anything that you set inside the system goes into that person's to-do list. You don't even need to think about when it needs to be done. The system will actually tell you when something needs to be done. So I can select yes, add. Okay, so I've actually created that checklist inside the system. I've related it to this company vehicle number 1. If I select view, there's that checklist, and it's automatically created a QR code. So the person now can actually do this checklist online. If they select no, it actually brings up a pop-up box for an action, hazard, or maintenance. So please note, when you're building a checklist, if you want something to be an action or something needs to be done, make sure that the answers should always be yes, because if it's no, it brings up that pop-up box. Okay. Now the reason why we open those fields up is because if I select open, I can actually relate this now to a different site and a different machine. So each time I do this checklist, if I actually do this checklist, and let's just relate it to the Dubal Express site, and let's relate it to a big truck. So we've related to all these other features. The person's completed that, they've signed on screen, they've select save. If I now go, say for an example, to my compliance register, and here's all the codes of practice and standards I've actually uploaded relating to your industry or just entered. If I select checklist, there it is there that I've actually done it. If I actually go to my policy, and if I select my vehicle policy, again, it's actually there for when I've done it. Anything that I actually related that checklist to, not only has it saved it in the items log individually, here, time and date of the person who did it, but also it's actually saved it in every single thing that I've actually related that to. So really, at the end of the day, your first kind of process is build your checklist inside your system. That's what you'd be doing first. Then it's created that QR code. You can actually come to this user admin dashboard. You would actually select the management icon if you're a manager, and you can select this building management, come to this public page, select add public page, and then you would actually select the checklist that you've actually created, and then you'd make it public. And then what that does then is basically you're looking at, if I've just made that checklist public, if I come back here, if I actually select that view icon, if you scan that QR code with your phone, it's going to bring up this checklist on your phone, and you'll be able to complete it, and you're not even logged into the system. How easy is that for your drivers and your employees now to complete something, and when they complete, remembering it's going to save it to every single one of those sections there. So this checklist feature is probably a great way to start. Now you've also got, say for an example, in your incident register, the incident form has a QR code. Your hazard form has a QR code. So straight away, the first thing to do is basically come here, go public pages, add public pages, select your site, select your hazard, and then basically select save. Then that hazard form is automatically, when they scan, you print out that QR code and stick it on the truck, whatever it is, they scan that QR code, it's going to open up this simple form. So you can make it site specific, that QR code. Rightio. So, but the better thing for me to do, Melissa, and I'll do it for you, is I'll actually produce a QR code for hazard, I'll produce a QR code for incident, and I'll do a QR code for some of the checklists that's already inside the system. Rightio. And then that way there, I'll even put it in a nice kind of frame like this. So in this frame here, I'll put your logo there, and I will actually send it to Melissa, and you can send it out to everybody. All you need to do is then stick it on the truck or stick it wherever it may be. All the drivers have to do is scan that QR code and you are up and running. That's how easy it is. And then once you actually get these basic fundamentals going, then you can use some of these other features, which I think we're going to go over in a couple of sessions. Is that right, Melissa? We're doing a couple of sessions? You can just go yes or no if you want. So it, yes, okay. So it, so in this session as well, I'll show you one other feature. So what I'll do, Melissa, to get you up and going, how about this, is I will develop a QR code, put it in a nice little frame like this for you today. So you'll have one for incidents and one for hazards, and you're up and running with that, okay? And then I'll actually, one of the checklists inside your system will be, there's inside your system a preloaded checklist. Even if you want to, I'll log into your system and select which checklist you want to be done, and I will make that public and send it to you as well. So now I'll show you probably the now #1 feature inside the system, other than the e-learning module, that is going to make your life a lot easier. So if I go user admin dashboard, go to this building management icon, remembering you're going for your management icon as a manager, I can develop a maintenance request link. So I can create a maintenance request link for a plant item or a whole site. Alrighty, so what does that mean? So if I'll select edit instead of, I can relate it to a site, I can select maintenance, and it'll bring up maintenance request form. And if a maintenance is actually logged, it's automatically going to email or SMS or both Phil Bamford. And the requests, you can actually develop the requests inside the system yourself. I'll give you an example of that. You might want to develop a maintenance request form for the truck ABC. So the requests are that it's got light are broken, tires are bald, such and such, whatever it may be. All the different maintenance items that certain maintenance requests for a truck. So then what you can actually do, locations, you might even say front right, back front left, back right, all these different things, all different locations on the truck. So you said what was actually the maintenance request and what's the location. And Melissa, if you wanted to, if you send me, and this would probably be a good idea, all the requests, basically requests that would actually happen for a truck or one of your vehicles, and then the locations that usually it is on the vehicle as well, and I will build this for you, rightio. Again, I will make it public, and I'll print that out. So what does that mean after that? Is that if I just wait till this slow GoToMeeting really slows this computer down. Come on, so it getting there. Sorry about that. It's the internet connection that we've had here. We've got a little bit of problem over here. So it, but what it'll mean is that if, come on, is that, let me close that one down. Pause. Is that'll automatically create a QR code for that maintenance request form, and when scanned, basically you're looking at, when scanned, it'll automatically bring up a maintenance request form where they can actually complete. It'll go into their into the maintenance register. Let me just log out here and just get this going. Anyway, my internet's not going too well over here, Melissa. So but what I'll do, okay, that if you can get the maintenance list, yep. And then what I'll do is I'll create that for you. But you'll see after this presentation, what I'll do, as I mentioned, I'll actually send you a PDF of all the QR code readers, but I'll also send you a little video that you can actually watch, so you can actually see how this maintenance request code actually works. And the maintenance request code, literally you can actually develop a maintenance request code. You can stick it on your vehicle behind the visor or whatever it may be, and what it does is when they scan it, it'll actually bring up the maintenance request form on their phone. They fill that in, it will automatically go to automatically email the person responsible, but also it'll actually go into the maintenance register as read, complete with work order number. You'll be able to select one icon and you'll be able to farm that out to a contractor or an internal person, which is inside your system, complete with work order number. They complete it and it actually develops a whole, you can enter cost of that maintenance and it develops a whole series of reports. So you can actually see that truck ABC is costing you, $5,000 a year. Is it worth to keep it, or is it worth getting a new truck? So it's a really good feature, especially for your industry, where it just makes it easier for your truck drivers and your employees to actually log maintenance that's needed for that item, that plant item, or even for the site. So I'll send you some videos on that and all those different things. So might have to leave it there because this internet is just not working here. So so what I'll do is I will develop the maintenance request for, I will develop a QR code for an incident, QR code for a hazard. Melissa, even if you want me to say for an example, if you've got a fit for work checklist, I might just build it inside your system quickly, make that, basically I'll develop that for you, make that public as well, put it in a nice little frame. And if you want to send me a maintenance one later, I can do that. And then that way there, at least everyone's up and running quite quickly. And then when we have our other session, we can actually talk about inductions in our next session and how you can actually do online inductions and so forth inside the system. So is that all right, Melissa? We just leave it there? Okay, fantastic. Just remembering I did record this as well, so and when it's actually finished, I'll send that out to everybody. But there is videos, step-by-step videos inside the system, as well as you do have a help section inside the system that you can actually ask any question on, how do I do this? And that ticket system, you can ask as many questions you want. Believe me, a lot of clients do, because and it's a good thing, because when the people are actually asking questions through the ticket system, what they're doing is they're learning more and more about the system. Alrighty, well, I hope everyone has a good Easter, and I'll develop those little kind of QR codes for you, Melissa, and I'll send them off to you. See you later.